I think a slight majority of the videos that get views or etc., mostly at least the views, on my main channel, Tony Cashman, they are actually claymations, and that's, in my opinion, both a good and a bad thing. I don't have a particular topic for this video. I'm going to actually just go about mostly claymation yet again, if I even did before. That's the irony. But I'm going to try to talk a little bit about what I've been up to, maybe, but definitely cover a bit about claymation without having to edit this video and see where it goes from there. But it's not going to be too forced for either the things I wish I could talk about outside claymation or the things that claymation would mean to me at the point of still talking about it and still making it worthwhile. But there you go. So that being said, yeah, this video is going to be a little longer. I don't have a time frame on talking about something that may or may not be relevant to me for some ironic reason, including claymation, So it's like, yeah, just going to talk about claymation in my own way. I'm not going to try to rush things. I'm not going to try to make an agenda about things either. But, the last project, The Dancing Colors of Fire, was a 5-parter series. I already made a video about that before. I don't know if everyone's caught that one because the title was so confusing. It was a reference to Deep Docs, the title, but it was actually about the claymation. So it was like, which would eventually combine. See, the big thing was that combining my other talents and passions and other figures of topics and niches or whatever, combining what I could do with those skills together and all those things I enjoyed doing, so that I can make more creative videos, was one of the ideas I had. It doesn't have to be long term or long game for that to happen. There's a way to make it happen sooner without rushing. But yeah, combining Deep Docs and claymations for one thing, that would have been really interesting if it didn't happen already. I don't have to get back to you about that. Maybe did it not happen? Did it or did it not happen, Tony? It was like, what? But confusing for that, really. So, but combining different topics and niches, like or ideas I had, like Deep Docs and claymations, OSTs and claymations, Deep Docs and OSTs, which I did for the very first episode of Deep Docs. So, stuff like that. But yeah, that video already talked about Dancing Colors of Fire, and because I'm only bringing it up again because the claymation series, the 5-parter, July 2022, that was like it wasn't so much a last ditch effort to figure out if I was going to actually make my claymations. It looked like it was one though, but it just I made those films. And then yet again, another Clay World style. I've done Clay World like content before, at least one other time ago, in 2020, 2021. I Robert Benford likes this one too if he sees this again, because that's interesting. But what I do with the claymations, not so much what they are, if that makes sense. But yeah, the Dancing Colors of Fire, when I made them, I still enjoyed animating those stop motion films, even then. As recent as I was, it may have looked like I was getting on claymation too soon, or burning out too quickly or something. If that also hasn't happened already, but it just when it comes down to it, I will always keep doors open if they're not closed yet. In a sense, I think I don't. This is why I still maintain some certain toxic relationships, however relevant that is this claymation topic thingy. I don't rely on topics. I digress, not digress, stuff like that, But if I haven't talked about enough about that before, or explained it, but if I had to, there was not before and after and during the Dancing Colors of Fire animation process. It didn't feel like I was already taking a break on purpose. I think every time I had an accidental hiatus, it was either because I was trying to avoid an actual burnout on accident at the same time, which sounds confusing even to me, unfortunately. But I never actually had an actual burnout. I never had an actual breaking point. I said that in other videos before, especially the last one, the salt of vinegar. That I still kind of have my moments thinking that, wow, that was actually a really good last video. If that was gonna be the last video on this channel ever, then I would have felt enough closer from that alone. But I know I have to make a content eventually. If it's been 3 or 4 weeks since then yeah, I just gotta try to push more. it's sometimes I'm the contrary person who can be look at people saying just make more videos to whatever they misunderstood about me or whatever they mean by that, and it's like, no, you can't just tell me to make more videos if I'm already making more videos. Now I'm not gonna make more videos. Contrariness, the functionality of doing the exact opposite of what you told me to do when I was already doing it, and now I have to solely not do it, like behind the scenes, whatever. Not claymation, but yeah. So here we are with more videos, I guess. But here I am recording in selfie mode, without doing. I'm not gonna turn the camera anyway. I'm not gonna fuck with it. But whenever I record, even in portrait and landscape mode, I still hold the camera without a stick. So it's like, it doesn't. What's the point? It's like, well, yeah, it's still shaking everywhere, even though it's in landscape. But yeah, Dancing Colors of Fire was a really good claymation. Before and after and during the Dancing Colors of Fire animation process, I was not desperate to make more claymation. I was also not thinking that claymation would actually go away completely. But it was like, in the moment of making that film, nothing went through my mind saying, okay, this is the last time I'm going to make claymation ever again. It wasn't like that. It was more like, I have to find a way to make this pivot and buffer and see if it's not like that at all. Maybe, hopefully it has its own merit. It has enough of its own thing going on that it does happen to be good, which I'm going to end up calling high value, not saying high quality. I have a lot. I've tried to express this before. I have a lot of gambit with quality content. A lot. And it was one of the reasons why it made it harder to deal with other communities lately. I don't even like the word community. Damn. People have so many fucking nostalgic endeavors. I keep making a reference between continuity and nostalgia. For people who are about my age or younger, who already feel like they've grown up and they still have yet to learn or some shit like that, and they have perspectives that they think I also have. I don't, for one thing, and for another, their perspective pisses me off. Because I don't know how they get the experiences they have, and especially the conclusions they have with what has actually happened to them. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, how is their experience like what they say, and how their perspective is what they show, with what actually happened in their lives or didn't happen, you know? And then they might say the same thing about me. It's like, Tony, how do you have that experience and perspective with everything that literally happened in your life? If of all things, your conclusions couldn't possibly be like this, there's no connection, you know? But here I am, claymation animator Tony, not a passion for that, I'm moving my hand like a rapper, oh my god. It's like, not having a passion for claymation, not having a talent for claymation, geez, that'd be deep. I certainly have some skill in claymation. I'm not the only one to. If at that point, I'm the only one tooting my own horn when it comes to claymation. Both me and other people already know that I have a lot of technique. Okay, fine, whatever. Both me and other people believe that I'm a good animator, a really good animator, a really great animator. But like, the passion, they can safely assume that I'm a passionate animator. I don't already think I'm one. And that was the same problem I had in cartooning. I think that's why even cartooning faded away. Up until I started to look into, every few months I would look into art schooling and teaching myself to be an artist, if I would ever actually do that. But like, if I haven't already done that, at least with claymation and cartooning. But same story with cartooning. It was like, being a cartoonist would be the best thing for me, honestly, if I actually gave a shit, enough of a shit to work on it. But like, that's not the only problem. It's also if I actually care about it. Like, that should be the same thing. Claymation, on the other hand, I have proven that I would do it, at least eventually. In at least a finite manner, I have proven to be a claymation animator, stop motion, even if I wasn't consistent enough. However that's supposed to mean. I don't see the world the same way maybe a lot of people seem to, with quality content and self-improvement, maybe even. Actually, yeah, not even self-improvement, not with like the no-fap and serum tension thing, but like, still. But again, defeating porn addiction and sex addiction would actually help with my claymation efforts. So there you go. But it's just like, actually proving that I not only at least enjoy claymation, and then maybe see if I actually would do quality efforts to improve those claymation films, which I automatically did anyways. I just didn't see it that way, you know. Is that all the thing that matters? Maybe not. Hopefully not. Or maybe hopefully it does. I don't know what I'm saying about that. Maybe I do. Ooh. Subconsciously I do somehow. That's the blessing. But it's okay. You guys don't understand me. I just have to get this out here. So like, I just yeah. Claymation. I think there was definitely going to be more efforts to pull into Project Tether. As many years, I'll keep saying that. But really, actually animating like a Pale Hatchet prop or some other designs and shit and OSTs. A Shallow's House Season 2 OST was going to come at some point. Cover for the OP Reedy. Most likely the OP though. Because I don't want to cover Clarice and be like, Clarice, and be like, oh, this is a differentiation from the last time I made a song for this. No, I'll continue with the Rio Na Nine stuff. Like Rio Na's cover for Shall We Dance. Her actual song for that. And then that's for the Shallow's House. Basically, it'd be like a reiteration of that. I don't even like the word iteration, but whatever. Hopefully not in that regard. But covering Rihanna's other song for the second season, which is like a continuation of her bringing back. That's what fans will look forward to, and they're glad that happened. If I do make a claymation and a original English lyrical songwriting for the second song in the second season, if I cover Shall We Dance or even Masquerade in that season, I hope you guys enjoy that stuff. Whether it's my songwriting or my claymation, I'm not gonna say that about the anime or the singers because that's actually copy theft or whatever. But I don't know. Copyright, controversial and popular opinion. Copyright is actually more, the deeper thing that's not even my idea about copyright is that it's not even functional. But my personal problem with copyright is that it's hard to actually not only make original works as much as possible, but to think that they have laws covering copyright as if one party or the other has the right or the wrong. I think that for me personally, it's not so much that it's dysfunctional if it is or not. It's if it actually serves the purpose of creating both creative freedom and intellectual property protection. And it's like, I don't know how you even promote creativity in spite of copyright. It's like, that seems like a double standard to me. And there are people who see copyright as being good, and they describe double standards as being something else. So there's a bigger dilemma. There's an even bigger dilemma than just saying double standards are wrong. It's actually how people perceive things, you know? That's how deep it gets. And I'm not afraid to admit that, even if people don't want me to be deep for some freaking reason. No. It's like, but you're deep too much. That's not that you shouldn't be deep. Yes, but for me to particularly want to be deep 24/7, if that's possible, if that actually is happening, and for other people to want, there's another video I want to make about this. It's like, there are several reasons I didn't return to YouTube for like 3 to 4 weeks straight. It wasn't just the personal stuff. It wasn't just the clear, concise stuff on the internet. It wasn't just like, wondering if I would make claymations ever again. It was like, and I bet you that wasn't the case even then. It was like, it wasn't that I wouldn't make claymations ever again. It was just that I didn't know which direction to go in a nutshell. I didn't know which direction to go in. There was like 4+ topics to cover for that alone. And not everyone would have been pleased with that. Both my subscribers and my friends on other resources. It's like my friends on the internet, friends in real life, friends and family in real life and out on the internet, if that makes sense. Strangers, associates. I don't even like seeing people as neutral and associate. The social connections thing, like literally, this isn't supposed to be relevant to social connections, but what direction to basically go in? Like, what do I do? Do I learn to be concise as a skill and hopefully as a lifestyle? If that's supposed to be my perspective, if I use the word hopefully wrong, but I'm like still trying to make sure that it works. So, and now you know that this video isn't just my claymation. Ta-da! But yeah, there you go. But I hope I don't run out of recording space. I just got a notification. I don't want to fuck with that. Okay, but it's for Aaron playing Phasmophobia, so on Twitch. So yeah. Claymation. Yeah, there was a season 2 Shall We Dance Rihanna cover I was gonna do for both my English writing lyrics, songwriting lyrics, and you don't see my hand moving around like this, but it's and claymation potentially either or both or neither. You know, does that help me hold accountability? But We can go past 24 minutes. The last video was 24 minutes, but that was pre-planned while making the video, if that makes sense. Claymation. Yeah, usually when I say the topic ahead of time in the beginning of the video, then I fall through the topic and it'll still take a long time to finish. Because either I'm still measuring that, or I still don't know any better. So I mean, I know better for a lot of things I do, whether I plan them or not. Not so much witty pulling things on my ass, but actually being insightful and clever enough to know how things work, and even have a agreeable moral compass. And it's like, you know, however that's possible. Which many people think it is objective and factual, but oops. Shouldn't concede logic and ethics, but okay. Even though those are my weaknesses alone, my emotional capacity should be the best of the part about me, and mental maybe, I think. Well, that's how you know it's the best then. Mental and emotional, not so much literal and rules, but whatever. Say I can describe that better, whether I'm deep or not. I am deep, but. Is there one more thing I'm going to try and explain at least 3 more things about claymation. So I already covered why I made Dancing Colors of Fire, maybe. I talked a little bit about the Shallow's House anime covers I would return to again for the 2nd season. Project Heather as another one. Let me see. Oh yeah, I need to make claymation now because I have a motivation to now at least start with claymation as a focus. Not just on YouTube, but in my real life lifestyle. Like, I'm trying to figure out this thing that Angel's been teaching lately about it only takes 3 weeks to build momentum, and then it takes 12 weeks to solidify a lifestyle. And it's like that's not exactly what he said, but it was like McCoy's basically said that 3 to 12 weeks is a really good way to focus on one thing and one thing only for a sincere reason. And it's like, you pick the first thing that comes to mind or the most important thing without overcomplicating it. And then if that thing stays in place, then you don't have regrets about multitasking. And this is not to be hard on myself for like multitasking before, especially last year. But let's say I did claymation for 3 to 12 weeks. And I didn't even talk about Power Apps yet. Oh my god. I didn't even talk about the Power Platform I was doing since I completed the Udacity class last year. Or this year. I think I completed the class this year or some point. But it was since the summer last year. And then I completed it. It took me like way more than a month to complete it. So it was like actually 6+ months in advance I completed it. Taking my time with it. And even after passing the class or finishing the tutorial without needing to be timed on it or scored or anything, I still made more shit with it, getting 3-month renewals on the Microsoft Developer tenant and so forth. And so what I ended up doing with Power Apps and Power Platform lately, which I didn't talk about in any channel on YouTube, I didn't talk about it at all. Not even with most people in my life for some reason. But only people who found out for some reason. But basically, the thing with Power Apps and Power Platform, it was like an unintentional, hidden, private hobby. It was something that I happened to not share yet, but I was able to explore what I was like, whether I wished that or not on myself or other people. Because I still see the world differently in many other different ways. That doesn't have to never be relatable, but the idea of MYOB and other things still gets my nerves. Privacy, personal things. I don't see the world the same way in that regard. People may think I do, but I don't, based on how I do things. Anyways, with comparing claymation to the Power Platform and Power Apps, yes, that would mean that throughout these next few weeks, I would have to ignore Power Apps and Power Platform completely, if at least for that time period. In 12 weeks, it would also mean that the tenants might not renew again because I haven't been using Power Apps and Power Platform. But I've even been getting to Azure, and that was for those of you who know with Azure, if you do the trial for Azure, I might have to cut out something with that a little bit to help them with finances, but it's like with Azure, I'm probably gonna even miss out using the features I got from the trial, and I won't be able to return those easily because I haven't been using it at all since even before learning about this from Angel. I haven't been using those features, so I still might miss them anyways. But if I lose in an effort to have focus on claymation, and to focus only on claymation, not even going to the gym, not even intentionally, deliberately trying to cure my PMO addiction on no 7 intention, and to even make sure that I actually don't have to be worried about other things in my life that are maybe in the worst possible place they could be. Maybe, I'm not saying that myself, maybe I am projecting that a little bit, but saying that I only focus on claymation, just that for 3 to 12 weeks plus, beyond. And then it solidifies as a lifestyle and a hobby that stays as a good habit. And then you can move on to the next thing. It does not matter what I lose or get. It's just to help me gain a focus. See, the funny thing is that unironically, this would also mean I wouldn't have to focus on being clear and concise. Because this video is already 20 minutes, and you can get my point if you're still here. But it's like, I wouldn't have to even focus on being clear and concise. Just maybe a bit of an ego death is here with this because of my tragedy with claymation and my problems with using creativity as an excuse to see my problems, even though it's also an outlet and a remedy in its own way, because creativity and building art is good, for the most part at least, and it's like, you don't have to worry about anything else, and there's even the other edge of my ego where it's like, but why am I making claymation when I could just be dating girls? And it's like, because I don't want to prioritize my purpose for some philosophical deep reason. I don't want to prioritize my solo well-being because I don't prefer solace and being alone, but I had to learn to have that through self-healing, rich law, astrology, whatever, spirituality, whatever, law of attraction, whatever, law of manifestation, or whatever, law of assumption, stuff like that. Having to self-heal and make sure that I'm in love with my own company, trusting in the universe, having a love-based connection with what is happening around me, and taking time to learn whether or not to make an effort or not, making just the right amount of effort and then leaving the rest of the universe to handle. And then, so neither being lazy nor struggling with the current. So, stuff like that. See, you can tell I'm learning how to make these things work for myself. You can tell. I don't have to even make this whole video about claymation. You can already tell it was worth watching this video. That's how much confidence I have on it, at least. But I just, even as I rewatch this video myself, which I have done before with other content, and I will do it for this video too if I had a chance to. As I rewatch this video myself, I'm going to find out that even if this could have been way better, with however shuddy or cruddy this was already for some reason, I never have regrets for stuff like this, particularly. I usually don't do everything for a reason and never have regrets likewise, but I particularly don't have regrets for doing things like this, where I put myself in a better headspace, even if it still looks corny and silly and stupid. But I don't have that kind of lack of confidence. I really don't think I do. So it just, oh, we're definitely going to go over 24 minutes. It's okay. If the camera has enough space for it. But yeah, claymation is going to be a new habit. It's going to potentially rip me off of power apps. But the good thing is that all the private shit, there was even more private shit I was doing other than power apps before power apps platform, but along the lines. There are things I can't even tell you about on this channel. I tell you about them in other channels I have showed you before. And then there are things I don't even tell you about even in those channels. You know, as private as my life can get. And I'm someone who doesn't even set boundaries yet. I've been trying to learn how to do that lately. These past few weeks, I was trying to learn how to set boundaries by asking the question, what boundaries should I set? But I still haven't set boundaries. So as someone who really has private lifestyles that I don't talk about, that's probably getting my foot in the water anyway. So that's good. Even that sounds wicked too, but that's the catch-22. Is like nothing you do can ever be completely good or bad. Basically, I asked that question years ago. It's like, can anything only be good or only be bad? Is there polarity in the same things? You know, but or some kind of karmic cycles as I call it. People don't even understand karma the same way as they should, because karma isn't always about karma isn't necessarily about how things are revengeful. It's just a bit of a returning cycle until they complete, I guess, if that makes sense. If even I understand that, right? But yeah, we're going to podcast 24 minutes for a reason. We're not going to end like the last video like this. Right here. Good to see. Okay, so claymation is going to be my built habit for the next few weeks, plus. And I think after this video, I can do a stream. I was going to run a stream on the thread where I was going to make a charity for YouTubers thing on 2019 in May, and I'm going to use that chat room in my desktop computer. I'm going to start it up from there. If it's still there, I'm going to try to open it with my computer and stream from there. I don't think I can open my phone for some reason, but I will open it on my computer. And then it's going to be a secret room for a claymation that I might try to do, or even a claymation effort. It's like a same thing, I guess. If I for example, if I sculpt a pale hatchet in the more the merrier live stream thread on YouTube. And that's what it's gonna be for. Is I'm gonna be sculpting as much as possible and animating as much as possible in the same stream. However overkill that will be, I'm gonna pick a special day for that, so I have enough energy to do it. Only if I want to do it though. But that's my little preview. But it could be a short stream too. It doesn't have to be long. But that's the only long ass thread I had for 3 years to work with as a secret room. Don't want to piss people off with a secret room, but it's my channel, so I get to. I have some right over being that sneaky and fun with it. But that's my idea of being special with it, so that's a good thing. I think that people will be pleased to see that happen. Be like, what the hell? It's a fucking YouTubers related live stream that was due 3 years ago. Why the fuck is it streaming for a completely different reason? And it's like, because I am making a claymation for Project Other or Shadow's House or something interesting that you actually like. Yikes. So anyone watching this video, you have a head start. Even though this was just about claymation so far, but yeah. Talked about other things in this video, so. But it's, yeah. Be on the lookout for that, if you do. It's going to be called A More the Merrier YouTubers Cares Charity Livestream, but it's not about that at all. It's about animating another claymation. Any of them. Any of them I'll put a little bit more effort than the usual, if I do, without having to hit the try harder button, so to speak. The YouTuber talked about that lately. Oh, I wonder how many on this channel know who that is. But yeah, I could link him later on if I do remember his name, or channel name. The name keeps coming. My head is Seth Goddard. That's a long ago inventor's name. His name couldn't possibly be Seth Goddard. I think his name is R.E. something. No, it's like he's a very nice consistency YouTuber like Robert Blake. He's very cool. He's like some kind of Indian guy. But yeah. Anyways, he believes in consistency over quality like Robert Blake. But they do have some I regard to quality anyways, but they have only just enough so that they're not ignorant. But they do care about consistency because their experience taught them consistency was better. And that's a story for me too. It's like consistency does matter to me. Not only that, but it's something I tried and found worth experimenting with while still making content I liked anyways. So making content that I enjoyed without worrying about this quality and being consistent with that without wanting to grow necessarily. It was actually better for me in the long time. Some people might look at, again, since the last video, some people might look at my life right now and they're like, wow, is he giving up on himself? If I'm making videos like this, does it really look like I'm giving up on myself? Minus the fact I didn't shower yet. Yikes. But it's just, but yeah, if I even talk about claymation still, then it's not like in that regard too that I've given up on claymation, let alone my life. I don't know if that's supposed to be an appropriate way to approach that, but let's just say if I were to say it in the backwards way, I care about my life and I also care about claymation. Fine, there you go with logistics, logical people, grammar, Nazis, whatever. But it's just, let me drink something so I don't run out of breath. Soda, wrong choice, whatever. So yeah, coming back to the Shadow's House claymation, season 2 I might make. We're either looking at sculpting. There's a reason I'll do it like this. Like I might sculpt Barbie and Barbara just for shits and giggles, and another Shadow Mastering doll, so I can just make a quick meme. Not even worrying about how to make their props worth it, but if you see the streams anyways, it'll be worth it nonetheless in that way. So you see more of them anyways. But if I make a quick meme with just those 4 characters outside of Kane and Maliko, then it's like, yeah, of course you don't. Well, I mean, because because Barbara, the 2 Shadow Masters, Barbara and the other one, if they're in the Masquerade song cover that I do with my English lyrics and claymation, then I will make a serious video with them. I will make a series 1 minute 30 plus minute video, and then fuck around with the other 2 characters and be like, make a meme about them, without having to show too much about them outside the live streams if they are in one. And the reason I'll do that is that like you've seen, essentially you guys have at least hopefully seen one claymation with Kate in it, and that was from the first season Shadow House cover. And there was a serious claymation that was, well, it was fun, but it was like, the raw footage was 4 seconds long, and the song itself was 1 minute 30, and that was like dragged along with the claymation, but that was good, I think. But basically, By messing around with extra props that take time to make, even if I'm a fast animator, which is another video I made multiple times about claymation being easy for me, not I don't have a passion for it. So at least my perspective is that claymation isn't. My perspective is that animation. There are various controversies about animation. Like, it's not overrated. It's not. No. I have the controversial perspective that animation is overrated, and I also have the controversial perspective that animation is easy to produce. And maybe to meet in the middle, depending on the circumstances, not the passion. Because for me, I wasn't passionate. That's my perspective again. So don't take what I'm saying as a fact either. So just don't act like I'm the one being blunt. I'm giving you a chance to understand this. This is why I'm trying to be hold my truth. I'm trying to stand my truth, but I don't want to be a bitch about it either. So basically, animation does not seem like it's underrated to me. And it also doesn't seem like something that you can say takes forever to make or that it's hard to make or something like that. Even especially as someone who's not passionate for claymation, then I can tell you that with my talent growing faster and faster over time, whether I make it or not, which is a funny thing, because even taking a break from claymation helped me become a better animator, which is an insightful thing indeed. But with the Barba and Barbie props, etc., if I only use them for like a 1 second meme, and it takes me like 2 or 4 hours to make them as props ahead of time, behind the scenes, that's the appropriate way to approach it. The reason I'll do that is so that I don't have to worry about having something to prove. The other reason is so that I don't have to worry about making the most out of something I worked hard on. Which I think people even in my family and friends groups, they accidentally weaponize that against me. They're like, it took you so long to do, not even just with claymation or YouTube content creation. It's like, it's with anything in my life, financial, work life, etc. It's like, you worked so hard for this, why would you throw it away? And it's not even, it has nothing to do with that. Well, it's like, it'll be things like, you worked hard for this money, why would you just spend it all of a sudden? It's like, it's stuff like that. So like with claymation, it's like, you worked hard to make this claymation, why would you say that it's easy to make? It's like, no difference, man. No difference. It's literally just perspective. It's like, my perspective being that even though I see claymation being easy to make, I understand what goes into it. I'm not saying that nothing goes into it. I'm saying that it's like, that it's something that people inflate as if they couldn't be any different. And there are people who will do that for a lot of facts and perspectives. They will actually say that something's a given, continuative, nostalgic, that something's already been explained. Something's already been explained and something's already been covered and nothing's also being said about it. There's not a discussion, etc., etc., etc. And they can still be wrong. And that's the fucked up thing about this searching for results and sticking up to facts and shit like that people keep talking about, is that in lieu, yes, I'll say it like that, Robert, thank you, Jordan Green, in his combat efforts with Ice Cold JT and Bryce Wilson. Congrats to them being in LA for that. Whoever went with them for the meetup. In lieu with that, if you with creativity and things like I'm doing with claymation, with creativity in the arts and stuff like that, I'm not saying that it's something I can throw away and be like, oh, that was easy. I especially won't do that if I recover from PMO and succeed enough I'm to intention. I especially won't do that because I know that was hard to do, even if I feel like it's easy later. With claymation and creativity, it's like, in cartooning, it's like, yes, that stuff is hard to do. It does take time. It literally takes time to do. But the reason I say it's easy, and the reason I say that there is time to make it, that could be shorter in my opinion, is not so much that I have a passion for it. It's because I know how to play the game. I know how it works. It doesn't have to even be the only game to play, because I'm a very flexible person who believes in possibilities, and that's with every other thing else in my life as well. It's not just with claymation. It's like, it may look like I treat claymation like crap, throw under the bus all the time, and don't make claymation for the longest time, and then act like it took me 2 seconds to make claymation after the longest time I was gone. Which I hope people don't misunderstand that. I think that's gonna piss me off too a little bit, but for things that are also partially my fault. But if I take a month for claymation, week break from the channel like this, like I've done that so far, and then I make a claymation or upload one, and then I say it takes only 2 hours to animate the whole thing, it's not because I'm trying something to prove. Maybe, hopefully, I won't do that at least. But it's mostly because I have a fear of criticism, and I don't want to be like, oh, don't worry about me. I just took a break and then I made claymation, which could literally be the truth, but it doesn't have to be like, oh, see, I have something to prove now. So, and if people don't believe me or people don't see that, then I'm a loser. No, it doesn't have to be like that. No, it has to be the wrong neck here. But before I would be that stubborn and be scared about hurting them or hurting myself. Now I know that even if I don't prove anything, it's okay. So it's like, because I don't need to have something to prove for that. With the claymation tragedy stuff I tried to talk about before, it was using claymation to solve problems in my life, and then coming to the conclusion that might make things worse for some reason, but hopefully not. Fingers crossed, but that I don't want to find problems and solutions anymore. I don't want to find answers to my problems anymore, even if it's appropriate for certain situations, like being characterized or being appropriate and well mannered, I guess. But to be someone who's patient enough to even sit with his own situation and not worry about what's going on too much, to an extent maybe, but still having the grace and solace and the peace of mind that even if I have to respond to some things, the things that I have a control over choosing what I respond to and how to respond to them, that might be a better blessing. This is a difference between action-oriented responsibility, maybe, and then being serene with my present moment. I guess this is why I overcomplicate personally. That's why I overcomplicate it. But just with claymation, yes, it would be nice if I made my claymation in the literal present moment. But would it be so bad if I never did for the rest of the year? It would make people a little upset if I didn't make claymations for the rest of the year. But technically, as much as I hate hearing the words, don't think that people care about you because their lives are just as important as everyone else's. The moment I hear stuff like that where I'm hearing, wow, so I have to care about my own life as if it's my own and everyone else has to do the same thing, spotlight themselves. You know what I'm talking about, like where people, there's a common universal advice from some even inline people who will say that don't care what people think of you because they're worrying about themselves, or at least they should be, because they'll be losers if they don't. And that used to piss me off, but now it's like, oh, okay, fine. Now I have to believe that, and it's not so bad. But it's just like, because when it's not true, it could actually be worse. But that's why I wanted to believe at first. But it's just, so. But that being said, claymation will in fact come back throughout the rest of the year. And not only that, it should be something that I could work on, bettering my lifestyle and building good habits, with not only making claymation as a lifestyle, but making sure that's not something I hate. Hopefully not hating claymation directly. And to think that I'll be someone who just animates shit, whether it is only going to be tributes for now to encourage me to make them, because that feels it's both creative and hard to make both tributes for other existing franchises and my own projects, because my own projects are more abstract and they're really abstract because I'm an abstract person, but it's also because I have all these ideas I never imagined before. I don't have references to all the time. I don't always have references to them, and even when I do, it's still something I haven't expected before, because only I know they exist sometimes. And it's like the franchises like Shallow's House, A Hat in Time, SCP Secret Laboratory, things I animated before, those were nice, and they did give me references. But I still, paradoxically, I still didn't understand them because they're not what I made before. So they're external to me. That's not to be like, not looking from within, but that has nothing to do with that. But we could stop in 40 minutes on this video, but I do want to push for another 5 to 8 at least. And I'm saying at least because I know I could talk more than an hour anyways. Jesus. But, hopefully this is the video that's not glitch issues or audio issues. I'm going to check one more time and see if I can push. I want to talk over an hour, but maybe I can't. So let me see. I also need time to review this video if I want to. So I also want YouTube already. So hear me out. Okay, 40 minutes, 48, over an hour, whatever. Here we go. Maybe 45 or 42. We'll see. Still about claymation, I should have just streamed this. Claymation. I'm gonna need that damn. I'm sorry. I was gonna talk about which modeling clay I should get next, which I always want to get new class instead of Van Aken. Van Aken's still really good. I'm lucky enough to even have Van Aken instead of just a bunch of knockoff brands, but not really knockoffs, but they're actually legit enough to be clay that actually works, but at least. But I talked to some family and friends about what tools I might need, what kind of a stop motion software I could get. other materials I can get for claymation efforts, stuff like that. Just want to throw that out there. I think I should be okay if I'm not gonna force myself to be an animator or claymation right away. I'm not gonna force myself to just animate something and not worry about what people think about what I'm doing. Even though they always enjoy claymation perpetually and not have to worry about anything else. But if they know that deep down making claymation at its core to be a better person, and not so much if I actually enjoy it, but it's a side effect and bonus that I do enjoy it making it. I'm not making that a negotiable to throw away. Hopefully not. But that. Well, let me put it this way then. I won't make claymation if it's not fun. But what I will do is not lie to you guys and say that claymation was a passion. You know what I mean? Like, at the same time, I'm not gonna lie to you and say claymation was a passion of mine. But I will not do it if it does hurt me deep down. Like, if it really is hurting me, I will actually stop doing it. But I'll hold the integrity to do that without having to worry about what it meant to prove that it was a talent and not a passion. But if claymation did evolve into a passion and a talent at the same time, because if people see it as a passion and not talent for me, I'd be really interested in that, to hear what they say about that. It's like, it's not your talent, your passion. Whoa, we got a perpendicular opinion here from both mine and other people's opinions. Jeez. It's not my talent, huh? Why, because I'm not good at it, or because I'm better at being a passion, which is neither the truth. Yeah, yikes. But I can see that coming. I may have argued a little bit about talent not being appropriate for certain other things. If claymation wasn't my talent, it might be a way to point at me tooting my horn too much, as I'm actually expert at, because I'm not an expert in claymation in certain other areas, especially the things I haven't trained before. Even the things I have been doing, like my claymation pop sculpting and animating, which are the core what I do for live streams. I haven't actually done enough of that in any ways. I do not clean my props. I don't do enough illustrated backgrounds. I don't do enough audio editing. Well, I mean, I do the necessary audio editing to give context, but I could have done more polishing for that too, not just the props. Irrelevant. Well, same thing, but yeah, same topic. But this is... So, here's my rig. First time I knelt down this whole fucking video. Jeez. But I think this is a video, not a live stream. Like, imagine if I was reading chat comments in the meantime. But, basically around my room, talking about claymation at least half the time. Talking about other things that matter to me in context for claymation to compare and contrast with. Yeah. Okay. The last time I did a 40-minute, and this is only a 40-minute, but like, the last time I did a 40-minute video with this kind of impression, I think I just stood right here in that video. That was the one where I was wearing a red sweater. And I was just standing right here and looking at the camera and sitting in my chair or something. I was just talking to the camera, my phone. I think it was the same phone even then. The same phone with the two generations behind glasses. The last pair of glasses, I'm wearing my new pair of glasses now, but the glasses before that and then the glasses before that, that's the one I was wearing that video. Didn't feel too long ago that I wore that pair. It just had nose prongs, which felt like ages, but it wasn't really, when you think about it. But, and to think that my new glasses will give me perspective on claymation. Is that relevant? Is that a forced connection? Whatever. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Twitch and YouTube live streaming. Twitch, I saved for video gaming, claymations, yay, for YouTube. Because YouTube, I didn't have an encoder, and Twitch, I had the encoder, but definitely the games are also integratable with Twitch. So I felt like Twitch was better for saving for games and other live streams, and then YouTube could have claymations because it could only record from my webcam. And it was like, if you're going to see my face and only my face, you might as well just see me, all the pieces of clay in my hand. No innuendo there, please. I forced that one, but don't innuendo. Get it together, you're on retention. Yeah. I will actually, in fact, however, I will actually make, I talked about this before, I hope. I keep saying that, but I really hope that. I tried to talk about a little bit before about making a no-fap and steam intention claymation. Yes, you heard me right, a no-fap claymation and steam intention claymation. It was going to be either a short film about the struggle with it, with porn and sex, or actually integrate it with other projects, like have some kind of Ice Cold JT claymation or something like that. Some people made anime about him, that was pretty funny. But it doesn't even only be those two ideas alone, just anything related to that. And it wouldn't be for view. Again, it wouldn't be for growth. I don't focus on growth anymore. At least not for the present moment. It doesn't have to be for growth. If it does grow my channel, it's whatever. But it just, but it would be with the experiment, like with or without the growth potential for many things I've done before and now. So, but however, these things might change. Like if I live stream on Twitch claymation, which I think I tried to do before, and I stream on even if I still didn't have an encoder on YouTube, which I might change that later, having encoder on YouTube eventually. But let's say my YouTube webcam streams weren't about claymation anymore for a period of time. I think they happened before. They were about meditations before and NoFap. But if Twitch was about claymation, there would be a good advantage of doing that. Not necessarily just for growth, but to actually just try it out and see what it does. Because Twitch being about claymation, if even consistently low at all, or the other way around, if Twitch started being about claymation for my content, then that would be the best resolve for the thing that happened 12 years ago, which was that I started to make claymation live streams on livestream.com, which is the very first time. I actually wanted to be a live streamer before I wanted to be a content creator, believe it or not. But that didn't happen for some reason. I had to be a content creator first for years, or at least a few years, before I did the first live stream, which was the Hand Time one on this channel. And then I did Twitch streaming on Hand Time actually. Which one? I don't remember when I did the first stream, because I think the very first stream was probably on YouTube, right? Because I acted like I knew what I was doing. I did know what I was doing for some lucky reason. But it was actually my first stream ever. I just happened to know what to do. Because making enough videos consistently to know the difference. Hopefully by that point. I was considered consistent in 2019 with the claymations alone. Still didn't make streams. Hence why the more merrier live stream schedule was still there, because I didn't actually make that stream yet in 2019. So 3 years later, it's like, okay. But back to what I'm saying about Twitch and YouTube. Twitch being about claymations would give resolve to that struggle of not being able to live stream on livestream.com before, and following claymations on Twitch, not just claymations on YouTube live streams, but claymations on Twitch streaming. That would be a complete full circle and a really good one. And then uploading reels and shit to Instagram, both photography and claymation pics, that would be actually amazing. That'd be even deeper than 2011. That'd be like 2006-esque, maybe. I don't know. But, you know what I mean? Life story stuff I talked about before. Most important person of all time. Stuff like that. That are yet again still on my about page. So if you want to read that, be there before you get the such or something else. Not to hide from it, but to actually make it easier to understand, or my other things I'm working on. I don't hide from wanting Tony Cashman to be the most special of all time per se, but it's just a thing. So if you haven't paid attention to the deep talks or the vlogs, then you don't know the difference. I'm just kidding. I'm sure you know enough from these videos alone, but yikes. the Discord notification. Jeez. Yeah, I could end off in 55. I'll do either start my 55 subscribers. I'll end in 7 minutes. I'll end in 7 minutes, so it's before an hour, but after 48 minutes. So we're at 48 right now. So as of not editing it, so I'm gonna drink one more time, and we'll end in 7 minutes. We'll be good. I've had live streams that were only 48 minutes long. That was fun. But I intentionally timed certain live streams to be 2 and 4 hours straight, because I was a perfectionist still, even then. I would time my very first live streams ever at 2 hours exactly, because that's what Twitch and YouTube recommended. So I was like, fine, I'll just do that for YouTube too, because it's a legend. I'm still trying to remember if I had time I streamed on Twitch first instead of YouTube. I'm still trying to remember. Maybe that's how I knew how to use YouTube. Whatever, I'll think about it. I'll look at that into that. But, yeah. 6 minutes left. Okay, 6 minutes. Okay, guys, claymation. Make them. Make claymations. I know I've given it a hard rap for a long time, but if you're thinking about making claymations, make them. Because I'm the kind of person who has enough going for himself that maybe he has nothing to lose for making claymations and getting the journey of them again. But if you're thinking about claymation the way I have, okay, maybe not like that. Maybe not nothing like I think of it. Maybe. But if you're thinking about making claymation particularly, please do it. Because you will have better motor skills, you'll have better creativity, you'll have you have a myriad of opportunities for you lined up by starting. You'll have a better lifestyle. You'll have a better sense of mood swings. You'll have better control of your emotions. You have something to do that's productive, and still makes people think you're cool, both in your real life and on the internet. If you share them publicly, depending on what they are, maybe that be a concern. But it's like, especially look at my claimations, some of them have actually already been appropriate. But whatever. But which one of my claimations have been appropriate other than the hand time claimation and the maybe the SAP ones? I'm forgetting. But yeah, claimation is worth it. I give it a bad rap because of my own life story. I used it. Yes, I used claimation to help solve my life problems. But in the meantime, it meant other things for other people, and that made me feel a little sick on the inside because I was like, shit, it's neither solving my life problems as much as I want to, and people are missing the point, and they're not seeing my life story. What the fuck do I do now? Do I illustrate my life story in a different way, which I think I'm going to do with Project Tether, or do I just assume that people who are assholes actually have a point, which is a double standard on them being wrong about hurting me, and still being right about what they mean to do with the things that I'm doing wrong, or something, But with none of that in those way of things, basically, if you're thinking about getting claimation, you won't have to deal with anything I'm dealing with, honestly. It's just that I personally used it as a coping mechanism, and it could have been a remedy. Hopefully it is a remedy, or eventually will be a remedy for me to make animations and stop-motion films, but in the meantime, I'm going to work on that too. But, what claimation means to me is that it's something that it's a certain specific particular world that happens to be underrated in its own way. I said animation wasn't underrated, but that's because of my underground way of perceiving animation as a whole, not just claymation. Because people who even inflate claymation being hard to make and too long to make, I still get mad about even that. So not just animation as a whole. But I try to make this video longer than 55 minutes. Let's see. What if I made this video on an hour and 5 minutes? I'll think about it. But as this video cuts off early, I'll just upload it. But in which case, I'll tell you right now, I was in the intentional Southern accent, whatever. I don't have an outro, but I'll just keep talking otherwise. Claymation is, when I first encountered it the first time, or the ways I have, it did have a magical charm to it. It did have that thing where it's like, before I get into actually being an animator, for however unofficial and official it was, being an animator and trying to see what it was like to get into it, and then sculpting and then animating, whether that was in 2010, 2011, or 2019 or later, there was a magical charm to it before you even think of it being a creative or cool or amazing, beautiful thing that's underrated. You don't think of it as being something that you can do right away, even if I was doing that anyways. I already knew that I would do something about it. But I'm going to write it too, so. You don't think of it as being something you can already do something about, but essentially I did something about it nonetheless, so I became the claymation animator that I wanted to be, and so forth. And I did want to be one. I'm not going to deny that, but it was just... But I took a chance with 2019 later, because I knew that I had to give something back, even if I still felt like I was being betrayed. But claymation does have a charm to it, no matter where you are in life. And it's like, it's just so particular. It's like these things are in the real world, using materials from the earth and not from a technological digital screen. I don't mean to throw shade on other animation mediums, but it's like not all of them, not even Sans or actual stop motion people or whatever, or Figma or stop motion like Bionicles or big films. But it's like claymation, you have an artificial control over the environment of clay, knowing that it also comes from the literal earth. It's an amalgam of that. And you have a combination with technology and literal elements. And it's like, there's a very creative aspect to that alone. And then you finally look into it as being an art in itself that happens to build a better environment for other people. And it's not just because you do things like have better motor skills with your hands, or you have a better, healthier, creative brain. You're literally sculpting the future by being an animator, and you're deliberately becoming a better person by touching what's rightfully yours. And that's me forcing an outro. What the fuck? Anyways, tapping into the things that you can't just say is fake just because it's magnified and artificial and augmented. You don't tell people that claymation is fake because you made it. You tell them it's real because it's everywhere. Thank you.